Yo, 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 what is poppin'? It is your girl, Morgan DuPont, back at it again with another video, back at it again with the shenanigans, okay? So today we're gonna be reacting to some trans children on TikTok. This one should be interesting. You can't be mad at me when this is the kind of content that's out there, honey, for the public eye to consume. Don't forget to bring me down, honey, bring me down. Roast me, honey, if you got an issue with anything I have to say. You know, become correct, honey, or get red, okay? Shout out to the new subscribers. I appreciate you being here. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
I'm gonna be right here.
And you can squeeze it.
The sixth grader is about to have a tiny medical device implanted in his left arm.
Cut this up.
Jack's dad and mom are at his side.
Oh, jeez, I'm really terrified.
Relax. Just relax. Jack.
It's
just in your head.
Hey, Jack,
relax. Just
Meredith's
relax.
gonna put some more numbing to make
It's
sure
just
that it's all
numbing.
numb, okay?
The implant stops female puberty and will keep Jack from growing breasts.
There you go.
What would you say to people who think kids are just too young to make this kind of decision?
Sure, I'm a kid, but it doesn't take a genius to realize that I'm not a girl.
An estimated 1.4 million adults in the U.S. identify as trans, 150,000 teens. But figures for younger children are largely unknown. Here in the Bay Area, there are at least 6 clinics for trans kids. UCSF serves about 800 children at its 3 clinics. Stanford sees 300 kids. Kaiser Permanente wouldn't tell us how many patients it sees at its 2 centers. But we do know there are more than 1,000 trans children served at the other 4 clinics. Some kids started therapy at 3 years old to transition socially, which means changing their names and wardrobes to match the gender they choose. Which brings us back to Jack.
You wanna see it? Yeah.
It's been more than 2 years since a medical implant began pausing his puberty.
It went really well. It's in there, and you know what? It's working right now.
Doctors recommend kids get off puberty blockers by the time they turn 14, which means Jack will soon have to decide whether to start taking testosterone to blend in as a boy, or get off the drugs to restart puberty as a girl.
Why would I ever want to go back into that shell? Because I know deep down inside I am a boy. And I know I won't change my mind because being a boy is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, why would I ever want to be a girl again? Because I know that's not me.
Honey. Wow. I be thinking to myself, am I being a hater? Because, like, I didn't have the opportunity to do it sooner. I remember even being at that age and being so sure about things and thinking that I knew it all, and I didn't know it all. To have a child go through all of that, it is possible that it can swell your brain and it could weaken your bones, okay? God did not make no freaking puberty blockers. God did not make us the way we are to block the process of what is human nature. So by you doing that, by people thinking that they're God, honey, and thinking that they could, you know, and I guess maybe right message, wrong messenger, because she's a tranny, on estrogen, perfect titties on her chest, I think that you can socially warm up to your child, allow them to express themselves in the gender that they see fit. But making life-altering decisions like puberty blockers and, you know, hormonal therapy and things of that sort, like, that's just, like, pushing it. Honey, if that was my child, I would have slapped her back into her tutu, honey. You're a kid. You're a child. You better go play with the dollhouse, honey. You better play with that Barbie, honey. Okay? I'm gonna put you in ballet classes, honey. Because you think you know it all. Shit.
Tell me why you're at Pride.
Because I'm transgender.
Do you want to share anything about your journey?
It was very tough.
Does your family make you feel supported?
Yes, a lot.
How old are you?
I am 7.
And how old were you when you discovered your identity?
I was 2 or 3 when I first noticed that I didn't feel comfortable with being a boy.
How did your child discover this identity? How did this come about?
So ever since she was little, she was always a princess, always. She sort of like every once in a while would mention ideas of like wanting to be a girl, of feeling more like a girl. And then, hi cutie pie. She started asking to like socially transition about a year and a half ago, and her school's been fantastic.
Your family, your friends, everyone like makes you feel supported and loved.
Except for my friends. I didn't tell them that yet.
Oh, wait, do you want to be on the internet talking about it then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope to be famous one day.
What do you want to be famous for?
Probably my songs or like famous drawings.
It wasn't even really a change. Like she's been expressing herself as a girl since she was old enough to get dressed. I think that being the parent of a trans child is totally different than what people think that it is. And I know you hear a lot about how we're going to have our kids go into surgery and how we're forcing them to make these decisions. The opposite is true. You know, I'm up all the time worrying about how the world is going to react to my kid. I would rather have her change her pronouns 1,000 times than have to write her obituary. I wish that people who have already decided that they hate us and that we're child abusers would actually talk to us. I feel like that would make such a big difference. But you're right, like the assumptions that people are making are the worst kinds of assumptions, and nobody wants to hear, you know, what our truth is. What it's like to actually raise a transgender child is just so remarkably different than what I would have experienced or thought.
What do you say to the people that accuse you of doing Munchausen by proxy?
So I think that the assumption for that is that, and I hope this is taken in the spirit what it's meant, is that means that we wanted to have a transgender child. And I love her no matter what, but I don't think any parent wants their child born into something in which they know that they're going to struggle. It goes against the idea of parenting for me.
You trans mama. The proof is in the pudding, honey. I bet you that little boy, honey, no shade, biologically a boy, is on the TikTok, okay, not being monitored, okay, and sees all the clout that these freaking trenders get by being trans and all this stuff. Like, just because you want to wear girl clothes or you like girl things doesn't make you trans. And this is a child, like, you know what I'm saying? And like, you don't have a heart, so you kind of feel bad, you know, looking at a child who's like confused and talking about, oh, at the age of 2 and 3 I felt uncomfortable. No, you didn't. You barely could eat Lucky Charms, little girl. Little boy. Right? Right? These little fake trans people. Okay, mama, you're putting hair all over me, Miss Thing. And I think a big problem is that I feel like a lot of these parents, they're just taking whatever these children are saying and like affirming them and allowing them to self-identify without letting them know the biological difference. Like, if I had a child that came to me and said that they were trans, first of all, that's not something that I would want ideally, because the trans struggle is real and I know what I have been through, and just even in this world in general, like, I don't know if I would want a child in this present time. However, like, I would ask questions. I will allow my child to possibly express their gender, you know, with clothes and things of that sort, but I will let them know biologically, like, sweetheart, you won't be that. I don't feel like that conversation of biology and what is and what is not isn't discussed. So you got, you know, this little boy thinking that, oh, I'm a girl just like the rest of them, and no, you're not. But you should teach a child that at a early age. That could cause so much confusion, and like, you're responsible, like, as an adult, to cultivate those conversations and to teach your child the difference, because, you know, your child could end up growing up and resenting you because they made a decision that ultimately was not the right one. Oh, honey, is it aligning with the hairline? I gotta make sure it aligns with the hairline, honey.
Kids can't decide that they're transgender. They're too young. Their brains haven't even developed, you know, like the part of the brain, like, it's not developed. So you're probably talking about the prefrontal cortex, right? Well, it's a good thing you're talking to somebody who has a degree from Harvard in psychology, specifically cognitive neuroscience. So the prefrontal cortex, or the PFC, does not mature into mid to late 20s. You're correct that it's not quite mature in kids yet. Yeah, but what does the PFC actually do? One of the primary functions of the PFC is inhibition, stopping us from doing things that would otherwise violate social norms. This can be really useful because sociality is really important to humans, but it can also stop us from being ourselves, especially when being ourselves violates social norms. I bet you and other adults that you know have stopped yourself from doing something because it might violate social norms. Well, yeah, that's your PFC. So yes, kids do not have a mature PFC yet, but I argue that that better neurologically equips them to be themselves because they do not have those inhibitory brain structures yet to stop them from being who they are. They are just who they are. And if you want a little bit more neuroscience, the PFC is widely regarded as the decision-making center of the brain. Guess what? Being trans is not a decision. It is just an identity that solidifies around the ages of 3 to 5 years old, according to all major medical, psychological, and psychiatric associations. So let's stop using these half-baked misunderstandings of cognitive neuroscience to put down trans kids, and instead recognize that science unequivocally supports trans kids. You just don't.
Yeah, and I bet science also supports Big Pharma and their agenda to make more coin. Okay? You know, Big Pharma, honey, is banking. Big Pharma, honey, she is making money. Okay? She is making money. I just don't understand the obsession with trans children. Like, it is very possible to have body dysmorphia, gender dysphoria. I experienced it as a child, you know. I would say the earliest I kind of recognized something was 5 years old, but like I couldn't comprehend what trans was. You know, I didn't know that was an option. Let alone I didn't even know what the fuck a drag queen was. It was all in my head, you know. And I mean, it's just this new generation and this new way of like, you know, you put a tablet in front of your baby, honey. You give the iPhone to a child, or download the app TikTok, honey. And they access all this like indoctrination and all this information. It's so different now, honey. The first time I, you know, met a trans person in my life was when I got into the group home. Cause you know, Orphan Annie. She was Orphan Annie, honey. That's part of my story. I became a ward of state at the age of 14 years old, and I got sent to my first group home. It was an LGBTQ group home, and I got introduced, like I saw like trans women, and that was like my first time ever knowing that was even a thing.
A 13-year-old transgender child wrote to me, said, "I hate looking at the news, not because I'm a teenager and it's boring, but because it's painful. I hear adults much older than me debate about my existence when they don't even know me. Our message to young people across America must be unequivocal. You're loved, you're heard, and you're understood, and you belong."
I bet you had a trans child writing you. We don't forget those videos, honey, of you getting a little too touchy with the kids and kissing them and hugging them and being really sus, honey. Very suspect, honey. You're like 5 seconds away from croaking. No shade. I don't wish that on anybody, but like his old ass. Fuck out of here. Next. like the showbiz moms, like showbiz parents, honey. They're probably like, oh, get in the camera. You're gonna do this. You're trans. Here's a trans flag. Like, imagine all that these motherfuckers have to do before, like, they get the footage of the child, you know, twirling around with a fucking dress. All in the name of clout, honey. You see, if you believe in trans rights, give me a like and subscribe. Like, wow, like, and y'all call me pandering, and y'all say I'm pandering, honey. These people be using their cross-dressing their children, honey, and fucking for content, to be content creators, honey, holding a heavy ass flag, like I mean, what have we come to, buddy? What?
4-year-old child who was born female at birth announces their transition at this.
The only reason this is viral, the only reason that people care about this is because they have been inflamed by people to believe that this family is giving their child hormones. Also, I'm coming to you live from my childhood bedroom, and I am off of my hiatus. Woohoo! I just had to yell at the transphobes. Anyway, here we go. No one, and I mean no one, is giving a 4-year-old child hormones. This family is letting their child explore their gender identity at a young age. And you know what? A lot of children do this anyway. Because gender is what? A construct. Whether or not you are supporting of your child is going to explore their gender identity. And even if they end up coming out later in life, they did the exploration when they were a kid. The difference here is that this family is supporting them through that process, which is new. Our society is built on this structured binary. Families have these godforsaken gender reveal parties. Before the child is born, people are looking at microscopic pictures of their child, trying to dissect whether or not that's a penis or not. People are telling their kids that they're gonna start dating their best friend's kid while in uterus. So not many people have gotten to this point. And it is a wonderful thing for this child that they have a family willing to explore this with them. Because even if this kid decides that they are not trans, this family will accept them. And they'll have access to the love and care that so many people don't have. And once again, let's go back to the fact that they are not providing them with hormones. If anything, a child would be provided with puberty blockers, which again, are not harmful. They are not hormones, they do not change any aspect of your body. That's exactly what they don't do. They block hormones. Wow. Ha! Hormone blockers have been used on cisgendered children for decades. They are used so that someone has the time to understand who they are, and so that they don't begin the process of puberty before they understand that. And then once they understand that, they can put them onto the proper hormones or just stop taking them. All while talking to a mental health professional. The transphobes who are against this are always talking about how they need to have their parental rights protected, and how all they want is parental rights for their own children. And to not be groomed by the 2S LGBTQIA. But girl, where are these people's parental rights? You're mad about this family's personal decision to let their family explore their gender identity. It's almost like it's not about parental rights and it's about not liking trans people. Until you stop picking out your child's wedding dress before they're even outside of a stomach, maybe we shouldn't be throwing the grooming stone around, because the grooming is coming from inside the house.
The nerve. As if he's the medical professional. Okay, leave it to the medical professionals then. A man who has a whole lot to say about transness, honey. And this is a person who actually identifies as they, them. So you know. Just because he got long nails, honey. He's not a man, neither a woman. He's a they, them. Okay, alright. But you got a whole lot to say about trans children without educating yourselves about the ramifications that can come with puberty blockers. It's so ignorant. It's so like tone deaf. He was just talking a whole lot of nothing. You were talking a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, we should be upset. Like, we should feel some type of way. We should talk about it. You know, because there are shitty parents out here that, just like the video before this one, have their children parading, you know what I mean, in all kinds of clothing for content, honey, and for the wrong reasons, and not because they're experiencing body dysmorphia and gender dysphoria, but because, you know, they just want to jump on a trend. We should be saying something. The ones that are quiet, the ones that shut the fuck, that don't say anything, those are the people that, like, have no integrity. And you're one of them. Honey.
Did I just see that parents are giving their kids puberty blockers?
Puberty blockers have been prescribed to both cisgender and transgender kids for a very long time now and are approved by all 12 major medical associations.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Nothing. But if you don't eat that pretzel stick that's in your hand soon, I'm going to, because those are delicious, and I don't know why it's taking you so long to eat it.
What are you trying to do to your kid?
Keep them healthy. Isn't that what everybody wants to do for and with their kids?
Back in the days, like when puberty blockers were first kind of thought of and created in the 1930s, or back in the day in the 1980s when puberty blockers started being used on label, or back in the days in the 1990s when they had full FDA approval. Parents were pushing birth control pills. Now we're pushing puberty blockers?
Puberty blockers have been prescribed and used in adolescents for years and years and years, and it's safe to do so. They were actually created and are still most commonly prescribed to cisgender kids for precocious or early puberty. In fact, they didn't start being used by transgender kids as a form of gender-affirming care until 1988. And they are still, by far, most commonly prescribed to cisgender kids. Now, there's a lot of different reasons why young girls would be prescribed birth control. It's not being pushed on them, and it wasn't being pushed on them back in the days. They're prescribed for health reasons, such as anemia, heavy or painful menstrual cycles, or even PCOS. And it's a little bit alarming that the only reason that you could think of that young girls would be prescribed birth control pills would be for some sort of sexual reason.
I don't even know what type of form that comes in.
Now, it's a good general rule of thumb that when you don't know something about something you're speaking on, it's best to just not speak on it and learn about it instead. Because if you don't even know what format the thing you're speaking on and have an opinion on comes in, you probably don't know enough about it to speak on it or have an opinion on it, and certainly not a strong enough one to post publicly on the internet.
But what is wrong with...
The only thing wrong with me is that you still have not eaten that pretzel stick, and I'm on my lunch break and I am starving.
Seriously, what parent would be okay with, like, stopping what's naturally supposed to start in a human being?
Because they want their kid to be healthy. Do you hold that same energy when puberty blockers are used to prevent a 6-year-old or 7-year-old or 8-year-old child from going into puberty? Because that's what they're most commonly used for.
Like, what in the fuck is going on?
What's going on is that you still have not eaten that pretzel stick.
I can't wait to see the TikToks 20 years from now from the trauma that this shit is causing.
So first of all, let's not pretend like TikTok's going to be around 20 years from now. That's like saying that MySpace is still a thing. Also, it is always wild to me to watch full-grown adults wish trauma on children. I would go to therapy.
Oh, hell no.
This is my response. This is my response, honey. This is my response to that, honey. In fact, shout out to the woman, honey. Shout out to the woman what she was saying, because, you know, she made sense. But this is all I'm gonna say, y'all. This is what I'm gonna say. Okay. All right now. This last video is not a trans child TikTok. However, this is just a cringe trans TikTok that I felt that we can end with. So yeah.
So I'm what you call versatile, which means I can be either a top or a bottom. And if you don't know what that means, it means basically I can be either a bagel or a banana. I prefer to be the bagel. But if they want to be the bagel, I can be the banana. I mean, I can totally be the banana. I can banana like the best of them. Does that make sense? Honestly, I don't care. I just wanted to make a video where I could say the word banana over and over again. Banana.
I bet you nobody wants to know about your banana and your bagel, bitch. Don't make me take this wig off again, honey. I just put it back on and I put some lip gloss on. Don't fuck up my vibe, honey. With your banana and your bagel. All right, y'all. That was it for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about like the idea of trans children and transitioning children? Do you think it's by case scenario? Do you think that putting children on puberty blockers is fair or it's safe? Like, how do you feel about it? I'm curious to know. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. All the things. Turn on your notification bell so you always know when I upload. I appreciate y'all being here. And yeah, definitely, yeah, like, you know, leave a comment, y'all. I read all the comments, okay? And I respond to most of them. Tell me I don't. Tell me I don't. Right, okay? I mean, at least for the first day when I upload, I try to respond to each and every comment I get, okay? But I do have a life, so I can't promise that I'll respond to each and every comment after the first day. However, I will read your comment and I will leave a heart in appreciation. Shout out to, you know, this family we're creating, you know, of truth tellers, of truth seekers. Till next time, love you all.